Good evening and welcome to Mountain Bears. I'm Aeson, and of course with me tonight is Techie Joe. How are you, darling?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know.
There's so many things going on in the
There is a lot going on in the world.
Yeah, I don't know. Where do you want to go first? I kind of want to talk about UK first, but didn't know if you were ready for that.
Well, we've got a few stories. We got one. So yeah, let's start there. We only have one of those.
Well, it's a story and then another story.
Did I miss one?
No.
Oh.
Hello, Miss Brenda.
Hey, Brenda.
Right. So, Princess Kathleen, Princess Kate, I think her actual title is Princess Catherine, is of course in hospital. She's going to be in hospital. She had abdomen surgery. She's going to be in hospital for 2 weeks, and then we'll be on rest for at least 3 to 5, well, at least 2 months.
Okay.
Not doing engagements, not hopping on planes, not jumping on trains, not riding in hours of a motor car to go cut a red ribbon.
Okay.
I'm a little annoyed. Here's why. They clearly said she had abdomen surgery. She's going to have some recovery time. Now, you've had your gallbladder out.
Yeah.
Okay. The Invisibles had their gallbladder out. The Invisible was in the hospital for a month. I thought I needed to change my voter's registration to Monongalia County.
Well, yeah, the nature of their surgery and the severity of where they were at with it.
Right.
Yeah, that was a extended stay visit.
Yes.
Book your arrangements. Would you like a window or an aisle?
Yeah. Okay.
Ocean view or no?
Yeah. Football stadium view or garden view? Your choice. I got asked that a few times.
Oh, really? Because I thought it was WVU and all the rooms looked at the stadium one way or another.
No, there's a whole section of the hospital, the back half, that doesn't look at the stadium.
What does it look at?
Huh?
What does it look at?
A beautiful garden.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's garden view or stadium view?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a series of choices one can make.
I know. It's a very complicated choice. But anyhow.
Yes.
You're going to love this. So the rag quoted a royal expert of saying, oh, it's not an abdomen thing. It's a mental breakdown.
What?
Yeah. I was like, excuse me? The BBC had to come back through and say, that is not what's going on.
Okay. That's out of left field.
Well, that is, because they wanted to compare her to Princess Diana.
Oh, for fuck's
sake. Yeah.
All right. So we're basically at this point just trying to create drama.
Exactly. They need newspaper sales up, I guess.
Sounds it.
But at the same time, she's, in the hospital, like many families. It can't just be a single event. There's also another event. This one, however, seems much more planned. And it's actually doing quite well. And, King Charles is doing well after prostate treatment.
Ooh.
Yeah. He got roto-rooted. I mean, it's quite clear that's what occurred. They may have used a green laser, but they still roto-rooted him.
Yeah, that's always a scary surgery for anyone. I can't imagine, though, being the surgeon for the king.
Right.
That's got to be a whole nother.
That's got to be a whole new definition there.
Don't fuck up the crown jewels. This could be bad.
Well, he's already got his heir and a useless spare, but he already has his heir.
I'm just saying.
So,
not a good career move.
No, it's not. No.
Yeah. Well, because that's a very frightening surgery for a lot of men.
Mm-hmm.
Girl.
Right.
Just because it is, no matter what exact procedure they go through,
Right.
and there are a few different ones for fixing different prostate issues. It's one of those when everything goes well.
Right.
Everyone's like, I wish I'd done this sooner.
Right.
When it doesn't,
mm-hmm.
everyone's like, or I could have died. That would have probably been preferable.
But on the other page of this, and what I find much more interesting, is he came out with this.
Mm-hmm.
HSN's website about prostate cancer, appointments for urologists have skyrocketed. Like, he made it okay for the British man to go, hey, doc, I'm twinkling all night.
Yeah. Well, and it's, yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that go into that, because depending upon, let's see, so this is an enlarged prostate, so yeah, it's just probably BPH.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gone in, got terped, and yeah.
Right.
Out you go.
Right.
But yeah.
Right.
No, I mean, I would say it has done a lot for, bringing attention to that.
Right. And I think that, it needs to be brought more attention to.
Well, because, I mean, think back probably, I don't know, 20, 30 years. If he had been going in for this, it would have been, call it anything else.
Right.
Jesus, call it anything else.
Right.
Versus now, and maybe some of that has to do with his age as well, at 75. Yeah. It's not like it's a shocker.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, these things happen.
Right.
So yeah. But no, very, very, very good to see that he was in and got that done.
Right.
I do hate that it has to co-occur
mm-hmm.
with his daughter-in-law having abdominal surgery.
And his ex-daughter-in-law going through skin cancer treatment.
Ugh.
Yeah, like 3 of the working royals are down. Now, we understand this.
Okay.
We went through this last year when me and you were both down.
Mm-hmm.
It's a functioning business. And when you have a small crew, which is what he's touted, it's not always the best.
This is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, that can be, yeah. There's a lot. You have multiple people going through different medical situations all at the same time.
Right.
And you're trying to just kind of get through.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, where are we at? I think sometime the firm is going to have to pull out some princesses and say, look, Princess Anne, your calendar looks like a coloring book of 3-year-old. Hey, daughters, you got to pick some stuff up here. Which I think they will. I don't think that'll be a problem. Because they've just never been heavy royal, functioning royalty. Princess Anne's children, I think, will be great.
Well, yeah, but then you got to sit there and reprocess what the hell all was Elizabeth doing?
I know, right?
At 75? Jesus.
Yeah.
Good Lord, you could have chopped that woman in half. She would have still hit all of her functions.
Yeah.
She probably would have sent one half one direction, one half the other, but still. She would have appreciated it, really.
Well, she probably would take solace in it.
Yeah, because technically, I don't think she officially slowed down.
No.
Till 95?
95 is when she slowed down. But up to the day before she crossed, she was meeting with prime ministers and holding government affairs.
Right. That's what I'm saying. She was running a full active schedule at 75.
Right.
Like, just kind of do it all day long. Like,
right.
And something tells me there were probably medical procedures she had and then went on.
Right. Well,
like,
she had a knee replacement done, and 2 days later was appearing at a race.
Yeah. Which, I mean, granted, for a knee replacement, they're more concerned if you don't get up after 2 days.
Right.
Now, granted, I'm sure that was...
Yeah. She was forced to slow down at 95.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's when she finally backed off her daily schedule.
Right.
Like, and that's always been a lot. Like, that's that is not a small schedule.
Right.
Like, so I mean, it's kind of interesting to see King Charles come in and then immediately, sort of, start walking into needing surgery.
Right.
Like, there's got to be some issues with that, I'm sure, of people going,
Right.
Like,
so Princess Anne is 73.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many engagements she's done this year.
I don't know. Break out the Google.
Yes. Last year, she carried out 457 engagements. That doesn't count charity meetings, board meetings, royal meetings at all.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty decent. That's at least one event per day, not counting the ones that you specified.
Right. Like, she's on like 96 charity boards.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, her diet of chicken salad must be her preservative.
Like, I don't know at this point, is that just code words for like ethanol?
Probably.
Or formaldehyde? Like, they just dip her and smack her on the butt and send her on the way? Just like dip her in some formaldehyde, yank her back out, smack down.
You know, she's picked up Charles's schedule for events that could not be moved. Yeah. Her and Camilla.
Again, that's, I mean, it is one of those things, though. Like, on the upside, yes, a lot of guys just, called up the NHS and scheduled their prostate exams.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. On the other hand, though, at 75 and like, what, how many months in?
How many months into the kingship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See a full year yet?
No, we are not.
Okay.
I'm thinking it was like September.
I'm sitting here going, is it? How long has this been? It's not long. Like, we're not a year, are we?
Right.
I mean, it's, again,
September 8th will be a year.
Okay. So, yeah, mere months.
Mere months.
Yeah, and already temporarily sidelined after a major surgery.
Right.
Because that is considered a major surgery.
It is. And I think that he'll be back to work within the month.
Theoretically, yes.
I mean, he's already back to his red boxes. Like, he never stopped those.
Do what?
All right. You know how I have my morning planner that has, like, all the crap in it that I got to deal with?
Ah, okay. Gotcha now.
He has red boxes with documents he's got to review, things he's got to sign, paychecks he's got to sign, decrees he's got to do, letters he's got to answer.
Right. So he's at least doing the basics.
Right.
Like literally that's got to be the basics.
Right.
Like, but no public engagements, no.
Right. You know, he isn't jumping into a plane to fly from Belmora over to London to cut the red ribbon on the new building of the medical center.
Right.
Right. But I don't know. I'm just waiting for them to come out with something stupid.
They who stupid what?
I'm just waiting for them to come out with something stupid about it.
Oh, about this isn't actually what occurred, or
right?
Okay, sorry, I wasn't getting that from what you said.
Yeah.
I don't know. That would be weird.
Yeah. All right, let's move to the one in the private chat.
Oh, okie dokie. All right. So, yeah, we're... Judge rejects justice defense on $300 million personally guaranteed liability?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a judge has rejected an argument that claims on $300 million in personally guaranteed liabilities should be set aside for government. In a filing, the judge has invited a lawyer representing Justice's longtime lender, Carter Bank and Trust, to prepare an order that would be a major milestone in collecting the huge debt. No doubt, $300 million? The debts were personally guaranteed by Jim Justice, his wife Kathy, and their son Jay, who runs the family's coal operations. The debts applied to several branches of the family's business network, but the most prominent may be Greenbrier Hotel Corporation, referring to the historic resort that generated waves of goodwill for Justice when he bought it out of bankruptcy. Judge Carter Greer of Martinsville, Virginia, circulated a memo this week that stated multiple times his conclusion that the justices had not laid out an adequately factual defense that could have been persuasive to set aside the debt claims. Here, defendants allege no facts to support their legal conclusions, Greer wrote. Carter Bank wants cash in roughly $300 million in defaulted loans, holding out signed guarantees to say the justices should pay up. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to move for liquidation.
Oh, so yeah, apparently the confessions of judgment are written and signed agreements accepting liability in instances of default. In such circumstances, the note may be presented to the court without even notifying the debtor or having a hearing. By signing, borrowers may sacrifice their right to be heard in court. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so basically... the Justice legal team contended that Carter Bank violated the Bank Holding Company Act of 1956 and engaged in a scheme to do so, that Carter breached its contractual and fiduciary obligations to Justice and the family companies, that Carter interfered with Justice's businesses or business expectancies and relationships with other lenders, and that the confessions of judgment violated due process, and that the personal guarantees are null and void. So basically, he got mad because the bank basically told people, yeah, they're in hock.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's I mean, short run on that one is the way I read it. Is no one was really excited to find out that, you know, he was telling everyone that they had like $300 million withstanding or outstanding, yes.
Yeah. And, you know, I think the judge is going to order liquidation. We might see the Greenbrier up for sale again.
Oy. I don't know. I figure it'll hit the mines first.
That's where I would.
Those already sold again. Like, it's
No,
very
those are just
confusing to keep up with
reincorporated.
his assets.
Right.
Like, he has sold the mines and bought the
Right.
mines back, and I think sold them again and bought them back. And
He keeps changing corporations. That's what he does.
yeah.
Yeah, this is an old game where, like, me and you just keep passing around a business. Like, I sell it to you for $1, you sell it to me for $1. We just keep getting rid of the assets.
Yeah, I know. I just never understood asset hot potato.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
it's fundamentally what it is. Yeah. But yeah.
All right. The story to Mississippi is pissing me off.
All right. So, Mississippi mother is arrested after shocking video of child shivering in a Walmart cart wearing nothing but a diaper went viral as she claims she's being done like Jesus and posts 54 pictures proving she's a good mom. All right. Yeah. So the mother came into Walmart in Jackson, Mississippi with her son in only a diaper. Supermarket worker Felicia confronted her with other shoppers and called cops. Felicia said she was fired 3 days later during her next shift for posting the video.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, a mother who brought her toddler son to Walmart wearing nothing but a diaper in freezing weather has been charged with child neglect. Cambria Gabriel Darby, 26, was arrested in the car park of the store in Byram, Mississippi, a suburb of Jackson, about 10:30 a.m. on January 17th. The 2-year-old boy was still freezing and shaking even after another shopper bought him a long-sleeve shirt and pants and dressed him in the store. Oh, good grief. So police put the boy in a warm car and called paramedics to assess him. Child Protective Services later took him away and released him to a relative along with his 2 siblings. Darby was charged with contributing to the negligent or delinquency of a child, or the neglect or delinquency of a child, and booked into Hinds County Detention Center. She faces up to 6 years in jail if convicted. Temperatures plunged below 20 degrees Fahrenheit that morning as a winter storm swept across the U.S., but the toddler had no shirt, socks, or shoes. So, yeah.
Not to mention pants, a onesie.
Yeah, I know. That was a whole mess.
Yeah. And then Walmart turns around and fires the employee.
I mean, in some ways, it kind of depends upon how you take the idea that was that her job. To take video,
No.
was that her job? I think she had every right to get involved. I think, well, I don't know. Posting it online is probably the real line. Plus, most companies really don't like that whole hopping in the middle of a situation like this. Like, I don't know what else to call it. It's a situation. I don't know what exactly to call it. I mean, other than what it is, which is neglect and abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I do, again, truly think, and I'm glad for the fact that she got involved in that.
Right. Well, not only her, but a few shoppers got involved.
Mm-hmm. Which, fair enough. I don't know what it does to share this online.
Right.
Like, it sounds like before, like, no one went home with this child.
Right.
In the situation that they were in.
Right.
Like, no, we're gonna resolve this before anyone leaves the parking lot.
Right.
I don't see what the end next of putting it online is.
Well, because there's so much inaction. My thoughts is who would take their child out in 20 degrees and only a diaper?
Yeah. Well, and then I'm confused because okay, so at the point in which the video is started, it almost. All right, so I'm clicking for the full video. Oh, okay. So there's an earlier point in which the child basically is just standing there in a diaper. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, the part of the video that was showing up was it looked like I was trying to figure out why it looked like the child was in a trash bag.
Right.
Like, what in the world?
Looks like what they have done is they had put one of those puffy coats like Invisible has around the child, while this older woman in a mobility scooter went and bought the child clothes.
Yeah. Which, I mean, personally, at the point in which that has happened, I think you have to personally recognize you have screwed up.
Right.
Like, I'm just saying, there's...
Well, when are we going to get it to standard that taking a child out of your home in a diaper is not acceptable? And only a diaper is not acceptable.
I don't know if it's hot enough.
Well, I get that it's hot enough, but 20 degrees?
No, not at 20 degrees. I'm saying if it's the middle of summer and it's like 95 outside, baby in a diaper is fine.
With a t-shirt.
Maybe a t-shirt.
Sorry.
If you can get the baby to keep the t-shirt on. I'm just saying, hot baby is hot and will throw off t-shirt. But no, in this temperature, yeah, no.
At 20 degrees in this city, we are not allowed to leave our dogs out 15 minutes.
Yeah.
15 minutes is the max they're allowed outside. This woman took an infant that is not fur covered with 6 inches of fur out in this weather, and then took him into Walmart, which isn't the best heated location.
No. Very much new.
And then she brags about, but my children have been to Disney World. My children have done this. And you took your child out at 20 degrees.
What were you thinking?
Yeah.
Like, what were you thinking?
Right.
I think it's kind of I don't think they were. And then I don't think they still, again, people start drawing attention to you, you would think you would start to get it, I've screwed up.
Right.
At the point in which someone's buying your child clothes in the middle of a Walmart.
Right.
Again, I think you would start to process, oh, I screwed up.
Right.
Like, okay.
Right.
But this seems like, no, doesn't get it, doesn't want to get it, is trying so hard not to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Would be so easy to just get it.
Right.
Oh, very annoying story.
Right.
Yeesh.
Well, luckily, Mississippi has stepped in, taken the children. Unfortunately, the mother is out on bail.
Meanwhile, the Walmart employee
has been fired.
Yes. There is a fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
That has, at least as of the article, amassed $4,000.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I was just curious if we could get an update. On how that fundraiser is doing. Oh, well, that is currently at $26,280.
Good.
with 1,100 donation or 1,100 donations so far.
Right.
Yeah. So that should help for a while.
Hopefully she gets a new job soon. Planned Parenthood, I hope, hires her. Because the director saw that and said if it was him in the store, he would have grabbed the child and held it close to his body as he could to get the child back to heat. Because apparently the child was suffering from hypothermia.
Yeah. Well, that's a large part of what shivering is the beginning of. And for little ones, like there's not a lot of body mass.
Right.
To help restart. Again,
well, as y'all guys remember, last week we reported on Devane vetoing the trans bills in Ohio. Unfortunately, the House and Senate both overran his veto. So trans families now have 90 days to leave Ohio if they want to continue the life-saving treatment for their child.
I think it's more impressive they managed at this point to get a veto override.
Right.
The Ohio Senate's vote to override passed with 24 yes votes to 8 no votes. What?
Yeah.
Like, that's it?
Yep.
24 people decided this was a good idea. What the hell? So, and then in the Ohio House, that was 65 yes to 28 no. Yeah.
Are y'all awake yet? Really, are y'all awake yet at what your representatives, your senators are doing? Remember, this is an election season. Put your ballot to use.
Yes, please. Because it's just a mixed bag right now.
Right.
Like, looking through the background on the story towards the end. 22 states have now enacted laws restricting or banning gender-affirming medical care for transgender minors, and many of those states face lawsuits. Courts have issued mixed rulings. The nation's first law in Arkansas was struck down by a federal judge who said the ban on care violated the due process rights of transgender youth and their families. The care has been available in the United States for more than a decade and is endorsed by major medical associations. At least 20 states have approved a version of a blanket ban on transgender athletes playing on K-12 and collegiate sports teams nationwide, or teams statewide. But a Biden administration proposal to forbid such outright bans is set to be finalized this year after multiple delays and much pushback. As proposed, the rule would establish that blanket bans would violate Title IX, the landmark gender equity legislation enacted in 1972. I still don't get why this one's so fucking hard. Like, just don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, get out of healthcare.
Right. Again, total bullshit.
Yeah.
Speaking of bullshit, you're going to have to explain this one to me.
All right. That is the... so SAG-AFTRA slams explicit Taylor Swift AI images upsetting, harmful, and must be made illegal.
Mhm.
Ooh, that's going a little further. All right, so SAG-AFTRA spoke out Friday against pornographic AI images of Taylor Swift that have been circulating on social media and reiterated support for legislation to outlaw such images. The Actors Union called the images upsetting, harmful, and deeply concerning. The development and dissemination of fake images, especially those of a lewd nature, without someone's consent, must be made illegal, the union said. As a society, we have it in our power to control these technologies, but we must act now before it's too late. The Performers Union has been following this issue for years and has previously expressed support for state and federal laws that would make it illegal to distribute deep fake pornographic images that replicate someone's likeness without consent. The issue has become a hot topic in Washington this week thanks to the images of Swift that circulated on X, formerly known as Twitter. So at the White House press briefing on Friday, a reporter asked if President Biden supported legislation to ban AI-generated porn images. Which the White House press secretary called.
He freezes. Give it a minute. Gotta love the internet.
All right. So yeah, the White House press secretary called it alarming. So yes, functionally, but
How? Is my question.
What do you mean how? How do you stop it? How do you?
Right. How do you stop it? How do you go after the ones that created it?
I'm sure there's many ways to go after the ones who have created it, because most of the AI that one would be using at this point is going to be internet accessible AI.
Right.
But more to the bigger point, I don't know what else to say. It's not like this was a new exciting frontier that no one had ever thought of before. To create images of celebrities that have not done nude scenes, based on similar like pornographic actresses and models. So that this is where I have a problem with the idea that like, oh, now we're going to show up and be like, this is a problem. Like like the point in which there was a problem was probably 40 years ago, 30 years ago.
Right.
When like, hi, Photoshop, you can do a lot of things, and people have. To now show up and be like, okay, now that we have an AI that can do this, now we're going to call it something else. And it's like, no, it's the same thing that was always there.
Right. But what I don't understand is, okay, whenever I'm an AI and if I'm using a word that they don't like, they will come and say, this is against terms of service. We can't correct this.
Okay.
Why was this not done on imaging?
I mean, what if you're starting with a base image? What words are you looking to stop? Creating nudes?
Right.
Because I mean, fundamentally, what we're talking about here isn't necessarily that you're typing in, "Hey AI, make a nude of Taylor Swift, please."
Right.
That's not really where this has to start at. I think fundamentally it's going to start at roughly the same place that one could start at with, like, here is an image fully dressed of Taylor Swift. Here is a bunch of images of a very similar build porn star, or at least nude model. do what you do. And effectively graft this head onto that body.
Right.
Accounting for like any variance between the two.
Okay.
Birthmarks and tattoos and things like that. At that point, you're just, working with a wireframe and like a skin overlay. It's really not that much different than like skinning our characters or our avatars in Second Life.
Right. So my question is how are they going to prevent it?
I don't even know where one starts.
Okay.
Other than you sit here and say you're not allowed to use AI technology to generate images, video, or audio.
Right. I'll be right back. I gotta go correct some children.
Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, with the at that point, I really don't know what all else they could do. I mean, I know SAG-AFTRA is also mad because of the ideas that of using AI to create actors effectively. CGI is now going to be a lot more than just effects. It can be the whole performance in terms of a realistic looking human. That's sort of where our AI is. And it does significantly frighten Hollywood, as it should. But I really don't know where you stop it.
Yeah. Well, it's like West Virginia legislature has legislation had a bill to block porn from underage users by requiring the device manufacturers to create parental controls built into the device.
That they already have?
No, that wasn't there.
Like, what wasn't there that they were going to add?
According to the bill, they would require phone manufacturers to include a filter that the parents had to turn off.
So we're going to solve. I'm sorry. So we're going to treat cell phones and tablets and computers and, we're just going to go on down the list. Like, this is what the 90s, and we have the lockout code on televisions. Like, seriously, guys, like, this is the best you got.
Yeah, but a legislator thought that the little old West Virginia state could require the manufacturers of all these devices, Samsung, Apple, everyone out there, to have this built into their software.
Right.
Yeah, of course the bill failed, and then there was a motion for the bill to never be seen the light of day again.
Yeah, pretty much, because it's like, do you know how much easier it would be for, like, I don't know, Apple to just show up and be like, or we could just not sell devices in your state.
Right. Like,
and you can just watch all your residents drive to Ohio, Virginia, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Maryland.
Right.
Just watch them cross the borders.
Right.
Because, like, you're going to stop 1 million people from being able to buy an iPhone.
Right.
Like, that's what you're like, going, the Goliath situation you're going up with is at most you have like 1 million and some people that are potential customers for any one of these manufacturers.
Right.
And even if all of them bought the same device, 1 million or so total customers. And you think you're going to totally change the market?
Yeah. Well,
Like,
these are the things that our West Virginia Senate spent 2 days ago debating. That bill, which lasted about 20 minutes. Then they spent the rest of the day debating 2 other bills. One of them being that you could have 50 gallons, that you could produce 50 gallons of alcohol in your house.
I'm sorry, we're now back to like stills and bathtub gin?
Yeah, that's where we're at.
So what are we doing at this point? Putting a limit on it? Or are we just trying to get out of the business of having to go back in the woods and figure it out?
Right. Again, it's just like, okay. And then, of course, then they went into this debate over the obscenity laws. And now trying to charge schools and libraries with obscenity crimes.
Over what?
Any inappropriate deemed material.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna rehash in the state of West Virginia. What was it? People v. Flint?
Yeah.
So we're just gonna rehash that, like, what, 40 years later? 50 years later?
Right.
Jesus. West Virginia, catch up.
Right.
God.
Right.
Oh.
And of
yes.
course,
Yeah. So Shannon's pointing out, so lots of people started making it during the panini. There's no putting the monster back in the box. No. Oh, it's the not allowed to make money off of it.
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sakes. I thought we were easy to do business, West Virginia. Thought we were easy to do business.
And then our favorite bill is back in the House.
Which one's this one? Beat your wife on
figure out how to use bathrooms.
Oh, good. We're redebating the bathroom.
Yeah. That, the Fourth Circuit has already struck the law down as unconstitutional.
But let's do it again.
Exactly.
Well, we have nothing else better.
Projects that need to be approved. We got bills that need to be approved to get internet, I don't know, throughout the state. We've got to figure out how to fix our budget without depending on coal.
And God forbid, don't touch that rainy day fund. Just never touch the rainy day fund.
Oh, they got to fund it some more.
Yeah. Got to fund that rainy day fund.
I watch a TikToker that's the minority.
Are we just trying to distract from Morrissey?
Yeah.
Because, it just struck me.
Right.
We haven't heard anything from Patrick Morrissey in a while.
I think he's trying to run for governor.
Yeah, that's it. Morrissey for governor. Yeah. He hasn't sued anyone recently.
Right.
Kind of important for your, state attorney general.
Right.
He's America's toughest attorney general. All right. Yeah. Alrighty then. Yeah, he's apparently 3 hours from his critical funding goal.
Oh, how lovely. Let's make sure he doesn't reach it.
Whatever that means. Oh, so Shannon's going, is that the guy who lived in Florida? No.
That's the one that is, that took our state dollars that we couldn't use to pay for roads and ordered from Best Buy 64-inch TVs to be installed in his house so he could work from home.
Oh, that's the part you care about?
Yeah, that's the starting of it.
I do not care if he had bought prostitutes and cocaine with that money. That isn't even the money that pisses me off with Morrissey.
Okay, what pisses you off?
That he created his own slush fund as attorney general and took all the fucking money he recovered from all of the fucking opioid lawsuits.
Right.
and kept it.
Right.
Did not throw a single dime of that money into the state.
Right.
That's when I lost it.
Right.
Like, everything after that is just like, small potatoes.
Okay, the grandson of former Arch Moore is running for governor. Do we need to hold a history lesson about con men of West Virginia?
Well, sometimes family circles back around.
Oh, please. They haven't changed. That's why
I mean, probably not, but we could hope.
I know. But Moore Capito, former state delegate, grandson of former Governor Arch Moore and son of U.S. Senator Shelley Moore, is running for governor. How many different ways can we say crook?
Ugh. Other horrible news. What's the rest of our ticket in West Virginia so far? I'm curious. I haven't even looked yet. It's like, I swear to God, we live in West Virginia. Of course, we don't look at who the hell's on the ballot until like the day before.
Here you go. Here's your current right ones.
It's just like a shit show no matter which way you go. It's kind of... All right, so declared are Terry Bradshaw, Farmer Moore Capito. Oh, what now?
He's a farmer.
Okay. Oh, is a farmer. Okay, Moore Capito, former state delegate, grandson of former Governor Arch Moore, and son of U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito. Kevin Christian, Chris Miller, automobile dealer, and son of U.S. Representative Carol Miller. Patrick Morrissey, West Virginia Attorney General and nominee for U.S. Senate in 2018. Mitch Roberts, Mac Warner, West Virginia Secretary of State, 2017 to present.
Mm-hmm.
And Rashida Yost, preschool owner. Oh, see, okay. See, now there's one I'm kind of interested in.
Okay.
I like, preschool owner running for governor.
That'll work.
Okay. What do we got? Like, please do not tell me you are fucking running just to give yourself handouts for
I have a new Senate pick I'm checking out also. Okay, looks nice. Attentive. Has a nice face.
Yeah, I'm having that moment. Like, okay. Like, I just go back and forth on the, like, please do not be running solely to hand yourself money to run private education. Oh, okay. Ooh, you opened a child care center in 2019. Bless your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I gotta say, that was, that's a, You can make it through that. You can make it through anything. Like, I'm there for you. I'm there for you. All right, so let's hit the about policies. Come on, education. Okay, looking at improving efforts for early reading, reduce class sizes, Goals and Aspiration Grant. Pay tuition to enroll in any extracurricular activities such as piano or other musical instrument lessons, certain sports, hobbies such as dancing and singing, and learning a second or third language. Okay. I was getting a little worried there. I was like, oh, there it is. And then it was like, nope, that's it. And move the cutoff month to enroll in kindergarten back to September.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Like, okay. I was a little worried. Cutting down student debt and decrease cost of education.
Mm-hmm.
All right. No, sorry, I was just worried. Like, after we had Bill Cole.
Yeah.
Ugh. I've been.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got to go get rid of someone. Ban user, delete their comments. Goodbye. All righty. Sure, great combo. Arch Moore's grandson is governor and Big Jim moves to senator. West Virginia is so messed up.
Yeah, I know.
Wrong. Right? You're not wrong.
Mind boss after mind boss.
Like, do you ever have a moment of like, well, why don't we put Don Blankenship back on the fucking ticket at this point? Like, does anyone care now?
Give him 10 years. Give him 10 years, they won't remember this shit.
I'm just saying. Good God. Oh. Like, it is just the recurrent cast of cretins that, like, we just can't get rid of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's the same batch of criminals.
Like, if we brought in Jim Justice and he had done one tour as governor, and then we went, that was probably not our wisest choice ever.
Right.
That's on us. That was probably not our wisest choice ever.
I think I found my new senator.
And then moved on. I wouldn't have a problem, but my God. Have you guys heard the Star Trek theory about the Bell riots? What?
All right, you got to fill us in.
Yeah, I need more than that because I think the answer is no, I don't. I have not heard the theory.
Right. But I think I found a new senator I like.
All right, Shrewsbury for U.S. Senate. So this is what, Zach Shrewsbury?
Mm-hmm.
Committed to fighting for strong labor protections. Healthcare is a right, not a privilege. Invest in prevention, treatment, and recovery to combat drug addiction. Committed to environmental justice. Future with clean air, safe water, and sustainable living. Robust renewable energy investment. Racial justice, veteran support, quality education, LGBTQIA2S plus. Dude, chill it. Like, really, that's where we're at now.
Yep.
LGBTQ2S plus.
Yep.
What the hell? Reproductive rights are non-negotiable. Agency over their own bodies. Trans rights are human rights. Medical decisions between professionals and individuals are the guardians. All right, fair enough. Do I really even care about taxes? Like, don't fuck it up. That's where we're at. And actually dealing with the housing crisis. Cool. In terms of homelessness. Well, houselessness. All right. Okay. I can. Oh, is he going to be Green Party? Please don't tell me he's Green Party. Or Mountaineer Party, or whatever fucked up party is going to divide the race. Like, sorry, I'm seeing all the green, and I'm just like, oh, but see, this is where we usually end up. Is you get a good candidate, sounds pretty decent, everything's going pretty well, and then it's like, no, you're just going to split the vote. Oh, nope, Democrat. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Sorry, just making sure, like, this is a concern.
No.
All right. Sorry, guys, we're catching up on that one.
No.
Oh, so here we go. Shannon's updating us. So in Star Trek, what kicked off the start of civilization being able to go out into space, there was an event in the 2020s where politicians were ignoring the needs of the people. So this guy named Bell started a riot that was a kickoff point and led to a complete restructuring of the government. So we're now hoping at this point that Star Trek canon becomes reality.
Yeah.
I'm down for it. I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just saying.
Right.
But that's where we're at. Okay.
Well, I'm at universal government. Let's get done with this shit.
I will see. Here's my whole thing, though. I'm starting to notice rumblings, and I don't think they're wrong.
Okay.
Of just like how much more till this all kind of blows up in its own face?
I don't know. At this point, King Charles, please come collect the loans unpaid.
Oh, please, the number of unpaid loans at this point, it's ridiculous. But no, I'm just talking about the fact that like we've jumped the shark.
We've done more than jump a shark. We've jumped a walrus at this point.
Okay. Well, I was more so talking about the fact that we've gotten to a point financially.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't even working. Like what we're doing isn't even working. Like we're beyond. People are struggling to. Now the entry level for middle class is $100,000 and some $1,000 a year.
Yep.
That's the entry level. That's not like you're comfortably middle class.
Mm-hmm.
This is the entry level. Like you have people that are making $100,000 a year right now that are struggling.
Right.
Like, hi, have you tried to buy a car? You know, the basic asset item that you need as an adult human to be fully employable.
Right.
Have you tried to buy one recently?
I haven't recently.
I mean, though, like the actual idea that you're going to own a car of value.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because we're still stuck in this idea you can go buy $1,000 car like you used to.
Right.
Which comes with a whole host of problems. But if you're seriously trying to buy a vehicle with the intention of being able to make a payment and afford to live and make it to the job that you're buying it so you can keep, good luck with that.
Right.
Good luck with that. Stable transportation is not affordable. Reliable transportation is not affordable.
No.
Hell, we're barely making a reliable transportation as it is.
Yeah.
Good grief. Okay, more from Shannon. So you know how the people are saying Simpsons tells the future. Guess what conspiracy theorists are saying? I don't know that I want to know, but bring it on.
Yeah, bring it on. We haven't talked conspiracy theory for a while.
Conspiracy theorists got.
I don't know. The asparagus is saying Nikki Hawley.
Well, I mean, the Simpsons has inadvertently Like, I don't think they mean to predict the future or didn't at some point.
Right.
But they just kind of kept nail on the head, just
Right.
about. Like, it was a little, but basically, like, you called Donald Trump literally going down the escalator.
Right.
What the hell?
Right.
Like, but no, it's eerie, the number of things that Simpsons has envisioned that have become reality.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that apparently will take a minute.
Yes. All right. As that happens, do you have an "Are You an Asshole"?
I do not currently. I am sorry. We will go with magical finger of choosing. Oh, this is another dog show. Because we were struggling on Tuesday.
We are, because they're just crappy.
Okay, then why don't we take a little hiatus from the Am I the Asshole, because we're not getting really good ones.
Well, isn't there a section called Am I a Jerk?
I don't know. Is there? Is there an Am I the Jerk?
Am I the Jerk? Yes.
Oh, there is an Am I the Jerk.
Here, okay, we'll take this one. This one looks nice.
All right, cool.
Power of the Mouse, and we're changing up to Am I a Jerk?
All right. Entitled manager tried giving me the sack, but I told her that she can't because I work for her bosses. I went to a local pub. I don't work for the pub, but I'm an inspector for a brewery. Into a new pub. There was a list of pubs. This happened in the UK. As I don't live in the USA, this is what happened. I called the pub and told them that I was on my way to do an inspection of the pub for the brewery. When I got there, I was let in, and the bartender was on his phone. So I said, "Hi, excuse me, I'm OP name. I'm the inspector for the brewery, and I need to speak with the manager, please." The bartender looks up from his phone and said, "She's busy, go away." I said, "I'm OP, the inspector for the brewery who owns this pub, and I need to speak to her now." The manager walks out of the kitchen and said, "Hi, you must be the brewery inspector, so nice to meet you." I shook her hand, and I did the inspection and told her the things that need to be sorted. This is some of the stuff on the list. Bartender on his phone, chef sitting in the garden on his phone, fryers dirty and leaking, the staff's attitude towards the customers. The manager said, "I don't care about that. Can't you see that it's quiet at the moment?" I said, "When I report this, the pub will be closed for a meeting with your bosses." She said, "You're fired, so now you can't report this." I just laughed and said, "I'm a higher rank than you. I can technically give you the sack." She kicked me out of the pub, and I report the issues, and the pub is now under investigation. And the manager was sacked, and everyone who worked in the pub was sacked. And the people who were doing their job were given an opportunity to work for the brewery. Am I the jerk?
No.
No, I think you really tried everything there.
Right.
Like, no, I think this all turned out perfectly.
No, we are still using a dill pickle.
I'm slipping, so we need to change pickles? What?
Well, technically, you're not slipping. The posters to Am I an Asshole are slipping.
Yeah, well, no, granted, I did not get a chance to pull one, and I should have, and that's on me, but my God, the ones I've seen recently, I dread going in there. It's just...
All right. Let me give you examples of ones we did not cover.
I'm sure these were great.
Am I an asshole for refusing to let my pregnant wife go snowboarding? Am I an asshole for making my friends ignore me during our hangout? Am I an asshole for not helping out more? Am I an asshole refusing to let my brother stay with me?
There's a certain point where it feels like "Am I the asshole?" just kind of repeats.
Right.
Just
Like there isn't any juicy.
There's nothing juicy. There's nothing new. No one has reinvented the wheel of things that are like,
Right.
Hadn't really had to think about that in my life, but okay, here we go. Like, that's the ones we like. That's what we look for. Right. The ones that are like, that's a little okay. Mm-hmm. Or the ones that challenge it, like you read the title, but then you read the thing, and it's like,
cockeyed.
That's a lot different.
All right.
Like, there's enough there to question.
Yeah.
So that's what we look for.
Yeah.
All right. So are we doing a poll?
To actually challenge our audience?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All
right.
So doing our normal poll.
The poll is up. Are they the jerk? Are they not the jerk? Is everyone shitty here? Or are they a dill pickle?
Bearing out. Yeah. Oh, poor pub owners.
So here we go for poly advice.
Ooh, poly advice.
This is a little heated.
Oh, we're getting some good poly advice, are we?
Yeah, starting to.
Alrighty. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm 30 and have been hooking up with this great married couple in their 40s for the last 3.5 months. We're only able to actually meet up once a month because all three of us work full-time and have children. In the meantime, we have an ongoing group chat. It's not ideal, and I know I'm definitely a unicorn. They are very respectful and funny and kind, and I really like them both. But I get frustrated sometimes because they're really busy and I end up just talking with the husband and rarely speak with the wife, and then I can't have sex with either of them unless they're both available. And it's definitely an unspoken rule that our interactions take place together, not on an individual basis. Like, I don't want to just talk over text. It gets old, and I, for one, get awkward, LOL. I like in-person connection. We haven't actually gone on a date together yet. This is my first time engaging with a couple like this. I don't know what's appropriate and what's not. And I kind of feel like a weird appendage. Do I try to have a conversation with them?
Yes.
That's like item 1.
Yeah.
Start a conversation, and I think more so, like, help them understand this is probably not going to work out for them long term with anyone. If you can't even have an in-person conversation.
Right.
Without both being present.
Well, and I think that gets to a point where it's like, all right, this is the questionnaire I'm posting in there. So what's our rules and boundaries here? Like, I need to understand where we're going with this. Are we just a casual hookup? Great. That's cool with me. That's what I'm wanting. And Brenda, thank you for bringing it up. I had forgotten that one, and we will cover it after my advice here. So my advice is you start out with the negotiational contract. Where are we headed? What are we doing? Are we all okay? Because I'm only seeing one interaction here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, still though, it doesn't set well for one interaction.
Right.
It's like, I mean...
Well, and couples generally have a different dynamic. Some are very talkative and up at 2 a.m. for long conversations. Others will respond to you within days as a carrier pigeon arrives at his desk.
Yeah.
And smoke signals have been sent to him.
Maybe one day.
I don't know. One of these days you'll answer your messages.
You know? That's how it works.
What's your advice?
No, I think you started the conversation and realized that, like, I think this is almost more than a conversation at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Is it's really going to end up being a functional ultimatum.
Right.
Is either we move past this,
right,
and at least go on the date together. Like I would allow a wait for that one.
Right.
But then after that, it's like, no, we kind of start functioning.
Yeah.
Like, keep the group chat. Group chat's always a wonderful thing.
Right.
But beyond that, no, does everything have to exist solely in the group chat?
Right.
I would hope not, because that would be my ultimatum, is the group chat cannot be my only form of contact.
Right.
Like, because if so, that's putting me in an awkward position.
Right.
And this isn't really...
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So your thoughts?
My thoughts is you got to talk. You got to get up. You got to talk. You got to find your boundaries. You got to find your roots, and they've got to be unanimous with boundaries. You know, if nobody's eating string cheese for a month, then nobody's eating string cheese for a month.
Well, there you. How did string cheese get involved?
Right.
I said, how did string cheese get involved?
I don't know. It's kind of like the other weird crap that occurs in a trifecta.
Okay.
2-hour Sunday meetings.
Alrighty. Sorry, I was just trying to... Like, how did string cheese get involved? What is it? Unicorns and like they're anti-dairy? Like, what the hell?
Well, if one has a barley allergy, everyone has a barley allergy. If one has an aloe allergy, everyone has an aloe allergy.
Okay.
One's lactose intolerant. I assume the whole household will go lactose intolerant.
Nah, that's a harder one to pull off.
Mm-hmm. Give him a minute. I really wish
like
the lactate
becomes. I wish I could too, but unfortunately I can't. So
okay,
I don't know what else to do.
All right, so the poll is up. Go ahead and vote. Brenda brought up a news story I wanted to talk about, but forgot it was existing because I'm following so many other things.
All right. So from people inside the mysterious deaths of 3 men found dead in friend's frozen yard, what we know so far. So Ricky Johnson, David Harrington, and Clayton McGeaney were found dead after watching a Chiefs game at a friend's home in Kansas City, Missouri on January 9th. Several questions remain unanswered after 3 men were found dead in the backyard of their friend's home on January 9th. Ricky Johnson, David Harrington, and Clayton McGeaney, it's the best I can do on the pronunciation there, bodies were discovered on January 9th, 2 days after they gathered at their friend Jordan Willis's home to watch a Kansas City Chiefs game on January 7th. McGinney's fiance went looking for him and called the police when she saw him dead on Willis's back porch. The Kansas City Police Department told People that after responding to her call, they confirmed they found a dead body. Upon further investigation, officers located 2 other dead bodies in the backyard, a spokesperson for the KCPD said. John Picerno, Willis's attorney, told People in a statement that his client is unaware of how his friends died and is anxiously awaiting the results of the autopsy and toxicology report. While the KCPD said that there were no obvious signs of foul play observed at or near the crime scene and that it wasn't ruled a homicide investigation, the deceased family suspected they weren't getting the full story. Nothing is adding up, Johnson's brother, Jonathan Price, told People, but primarily, Jordan's story does not add up whatsoever. From the details of the night, the three men died to the questions that still remain unanswered. Here's everything to know about the mysterious deaths of Ricky Johnson, David Harrington, and Clayton McGeeney. So yeah.
So they were
the three
social media friends.
Pardon?
They all were friends. They posted on social media.
Okay, so it sounds like no one was real familiar with Willis.
Right.
Who was renting the home where the men died. And that, like, Willis just went to a nearby school. The other three went to school together. So Johnson ran his father's business, Johnson's Construction, in Kansas City, and was an avid sports fan, always rooting for the Chiefs. He was also a father of three girls, ages 14, 9, and 4, whom he loved spending time with, as his mother, Norma Chester, told People. McGeeney's family echoed similar sentiments, with his cousin calling him a good person. Just the thought of him dying and then him sitting outside in the cold for 2 days, he said, it's extremely devastating. The whole family is messed up. He was such a good person. And then per a GoFundMe started on behalf of April, McGinney's fiance. The victim was a subcontractor for a small construction company. And was on a good path, turning his life around after a few issues with traffic violations and child support.
Okay. So 3 people are outside in the backyard, and he goes to bed. He thought they left the house.
All right. Well, now, okay, so the 3 friends went over to Willis's rented house in Kansas City to watch the Chiefs play. While initial reports stated that it was just the 4 of them present at the home, WDAF later reported that a 5th friend was there that night, but left earlier in the evening. The exact timeline of the events that followed remains unclear. Picerno claimed that his client Willis last saw the men when they left his house and he went to bed. He had no knowledge that they remained in his backyard, the attorney added. And then the 5th man left maybe an hour or 2 before the other 3. And that Jordan is not exactly sure of that time period. And then, however, WDAF reported that Picerno has since said that Willis went to sleep before the 3 men left.
All right.
Okay. So it's kind of all over the place.
Right.
So he voluntarily consented to a search of his home. 2 of the victims' cars were found parked on his street. And the lawyer's like, well, it wasn't unusual for Willis's friends to leave their cars there overnight.
Right.
What? But he's apparently known the men for 20 years and is deeply hurt over their passing.
How did he sleep through 2 days?
And but he sleeps with headphones in, but he didn't receive any text messages or phone calls and did not see a Facebook message from one of the wives before the police came. What?
Yeah.
But then he was home sporadically in the 2 days before his friends' bodies were found. But then he claimed a few days later that Willis never left the house between Sunday and Tuesday when the police came. Oh, what he meant to say is that he was sleeping and left his bedroom.
Okay, give it a minute.
Okay. So apparently what the lawyer meant to say was that he was sleeping and left his bedroom sporadically.
Uh-huh.
I'm just...
So they're waiting for autopsy reports and toxicology reports. This smells fentanyl.
I mean...
Either that or alcohol poisoning.
I'm just trying to figure out, like, well, I mean, possibly fentanyl, but you'd think he might bring up at this point, like, you know, with 3 dead bodies in the backyard.
Right.
And a 5th person who was there but left, that maybe they all smoked a joint and Willis was like, oh, okay, I'm toast.
Right.
And went to bed. Meanwhile, the other 3 go outside to finish it.
Right.
And end up like it's laced and they end up just sitting there and dying.
Sorry.
I mean, that's one potential explanation I could follow.
Right. But I think it's really strange that he didn't pay attention to his backyard if that's his main entry.
Well, see, that's where I'm kind of confused. Is like, if the backyard is the primary, like, entrance exit.
Uh-huh.
But he didn't leave the house for 2 days, which,
right.
Again, if you smoked a joint and, you know, passed out in your bed.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was laced with fentanyl.
Right.
That would make some sense. Like, you know, I'm assuming this is because of the MLK holiday.
Right.
That none of them had to work. They watched the game.
Right.
The 3 guys leave. He had gone on to bed. He ends up passing out for hours, wakes up, thinks, damn, I had too much to drink last night. Stumbles around the house, watches some movies. He doesn't have anywhere to go or anything to do.
Mm-hmm.
But then by Tuesday, wouldn't you be getting up to go to work?
Yeah.
Like, how do you not know by Tuesday?
Right.
Like, I'm figuring 8 a.m. Tuesday, or, well, I would say roughly 7:30 on Tuesday morning.
Mm-hmm.
You would have a real clear idea of what had happened.
Right.
Unless there's some version of this where, like, you were... Like, but there doesn't seem to even be that much of the story about, like, were they found on Tuesday?
Yeah, they were found on Tuesday.
Right, but I was trying to figure out what time on the night. Was it like bang, 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 9 a.m.?
Right.
Like...
Yeah, I'm not seeing a report that the autopsies have come back yet.
Yeah, I figure it's going to be a minute on the autopsies. I was just trying to see if one of the original stories might give a timeline.
It does.
Or, like, the police were called at... And, like, does that make sense? Because if this is, like, 5 o'clock on Tuesday night...
Right.
How did you... Did you not work Tuesday? Like, what was the deal? Like,
right.
You tell me someone watched a game. Like, you go out, you do all your running, all your prep. You know you're going to be drinking and kind of fucked up on Monday because it's a holiday. So you do everything on Sunday.
Right.
Pack yourself in.
Right.
All right, you got your liquor, you got your food, you got all your shit.
Right.
You watch the game, you do the game thing. You probably have leftovers or frozen dinners and all that shit. It doesn't really matter. You don't plan to go anywhere on Monday.
Right.
Okay, so then you get high,
Right.
way higher than you thought. You're real trashed on
Mm-hmm.
some point Monday.
Right. Tuesday would have been the snowstorm.
Okay.
So that moves, like, nobody's going out, nobody's doing anything, all offices are closed.
Oh shit. So but that was what, like Monday night into Tuesday?
Yeah. Sunday,
Okay, so
Monday,
you
Tuesday.
literally come off of your 3-day weekend you thought you were having.
Mm-hmm.
You get fucked up Sunday night through most of Monday.
Right.
You finally start to rouse a little bit as the snowstorm starts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're not going out in that. Hope you got, enough eggs, bread, and toilet paper to survive.
Right.
And then Tuesday, everything's closed. You're not going out.
Right.
And honestly, if they're just all sitting there in chairs,
Mm-hmm.
or some approximation of that, this all had to hit suddenly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if okay.
I know what you mean. It would have to hit suddenly. Hey, Google, stop.
Like this is a very screwed up story, but I think it's going to end up being like, if they weren't high, there had to be some kind of like carbon monoxide leak or something.
Yes.
Because I'm also wondering about the words back porch.
Right.
Like, are we talking about like back porch as I would see it?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, are we talking about like this is a little back porch and there's, just some lawn chairs and it's exposed? Or are we talking like an enclosed back porch? Like,
good question. I'm going to check and see if the Star has anything.
So he was asleep when they left, and he slept through all the people that knocked on his door for 2 days.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like. I'm struggling with, is there a plausible So yeah, I'm struggling if there's a plausible version. Like, is there a way I can work this out in my head?
Right.
That it gets into Tuesday before anyone knows there's like 3 dead bodies just sitting in your backyard.
Right.
Like, how do you get from Sunday night?
Right.
Like, you woke up Monday morning and you're on your way out to work and you go, oh my God, there's 3 dead people back here. That makes sense.
Right.
And you would kind of expect somewhere on Monday or early Tuesday, you're going to go out.
You would think so. Now, what I'm finding interesting is it is not really being covered. Like on the at the Star, there isn't much news there.
I can kind of understand that one because right now there's nothing to really talk about. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Like until you can get a why 3 men in their like late 30s,
right,
calmly die on someone's back porch,
right, and in the yard. So I'm thinking smoking situation.
Yeah, like it doesn't. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, how do you just up and die?
Right.
In someone, like, one person does it, it's like, okay, that's a little weird.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, God, this is going to be a hell of a story when we get there. What the fuck? 2 people do it, and it's like, that's extremely unlikely. Right. But 3 is just like, good God. I almost feel like Willis might be lucky to be alive.
Yeah, possibly. Because he went up and went to sleep.
Because he was already at
fell
home.
asleep uncontrollably.
And that's what I'm thinking's had to have happened. Like, I think he was so out of it, he doesn't realize.
Right.
Like, I sincerely think whatever happened, this was a freak event.
Right.
And he just locked up.
Yes.
So, alrighty.
We will keep following this, and we'll bring it up.
Absolutely.
Hello, Hoodie. All right, let's go over to the poll. No, you are not a jerk this week.
Woohoo! I'm not the jerk.
You're not the jerk. Yay. Oh, one of the girls broke into the basement and then found the first body and called police. The story, just she read. So yeah, she's had to break into the backyard to find it.
Okay. I mean, is that one of those situations she had to break into the house to get to the backyard?
Correct.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Local covering this, though. Like, that's...
Well, see, that sounds less and less like the backyard was the primary entrance exit.
Right. But if she's not there, I mean...
Well, I mean, like, most people have a house that like, if... Like, wherever the hell the driveway is.
Right.
Whatever door nearest that is going to be your primary entrance exit. Right. On many houses, it's a back door.
Mm-hmm.
And the front door is just a pretty little thing on the house.
Right. But if she's not familiar with this dude's house...
I know, but if you could just... Like, once I've beat on the front door for a good 30 minutes...
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care about trespassing at this point. There's a missing person involved. I'm going all around this house.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. So I figure if there is an easily accessible backyard,
right.
Like, again, I'm going all around this house. But if I got to break into something, that would slow me down.
Right.
Like, that's just, it's
weird. Okay. I think we've got a picture.
Okay. Oh, of the house?
Yeah. And it's easy to see that, like, there's two different divisions.
Okay.
Like, the backyard. I'll send it to you. Like, this is kind of like my aunt's house in Baltimore. She had a front door that all the public used, but everyone else went to the back door.
Okay. Oh, good Lord. Close. All the things. Oh, come on. Go away. There we go. Oh, okay. I see the malfunction here.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a very, like, sliced off backyard.
Right.
And there's probably not a driveway.
Right.
So it really is just like park on the street, walk up to the house.
Right.
And then, yeah, unless you know.
Right.
Or someone just tells you.
Right.
I mean, granted, the path through, but that's after. Okay.
Yeah.
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 All right. Fair enough. After a snowfall, no one's been in or out.
Right.
Which, I mean, that would lead to, you know what I mean? Like, if he's sitting there saying, you know, I didn't leave the house.
Right.
Then he at least didn't leave the house between whenever the snowstorm started.
Mm-hmm.
And the first person came over.
Exactly.
Because, Wouldn't you have noticed all the tracks through the snow before?
Wouldn't you?
Like if I'm sitting here and I'm trying to get in touch with someone, and I see this very clear line of steps back and forth to this one spot on the fence, right. I think I would figure out pretty quickly, you must not use your front door.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
So,
and it looks like a wall of privacy fences through that neighborhood.
Yeah, Brenda's like, I would have walked to the back before breaking into a basement window.
Yeah.
I mean, argumentatively, yes.
But
like,
all right.
I don't know. I figure at some point I'd throw the car into drive and just take down the fence.
All right. I mean, that's extreme, but I would do that. Okay, let's take a look.
All righty.
All right. This is the neighborhood. This isn't the Pacific House. I don't believe. Okay. It kind of looks like it, though.
Well, I think it's one of those neighborhoods that are all going to be very similar.
Yeah, they're going to be very similar. As we see, there's a privacy fence along this neighborhood's backyard all the way through.
Yeah. Really like their privacy fencing.
Yep. House after house. After house.
Yeah.
So I can understand breaking into that basement door before you check out the backyard, because it isn't easy to get through to that backyard.
Well, but it does look like there were driveways potentially.
Right.
And again, I'm sorry if I'm thinking about it from my perspective, and I'm assuming this is not some big giant woman. If I'm trying to get in touch with a homeowner because this is the last place my fiance was seen, and all the other girls that I've talked to haven't seen their husbands either,
right?
Or boyfriends and sons and whatever, because she's called everyone at this point. I'm knocking on your door one more time, and then by God, I'm going to drive my car through your fence.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. I'll buy you a new fence.
Well, but here's the thought. Would you think that they would be in the backyard at 20 degrees?
Okay, that's a fair point.
Oh, Google's going to be so confused.
Do what now?
I don't remember what we were covering out of Indiana, but Idaho. But it was like Google kept showing me Idaho news.
Oh, dear.
Now I'm deep soaking into Indiana.
Okay. Wait, Indiana? I thought it was Kansas.
I mean, Kansas City.
Okay. Missouri, man.
Missouri.
Get to the right state.
What was Monday? 22nd.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, it was 14 and -1. My first instinct would not be that you're hiding out in the backyard.
I know, but if you keep beating on the front door and no one's coming to it.
Yeah, I'm taking the first option I have available to get into that house.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes more sense.
Front door in, but I could understand some people don't know to aim for the bottom of the doorknob.
Well, that's fair. But yeah, I'm just. But I would think with the
If I ever go missing, you're going to level everything in sight.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, for him, I mostly assume, take my husband, please, you'll return him. But on the off chance.
Right.
Yeah, no, like, what's a little property damage?
We have full coverage for a reason.
I mean, to quote one of my favorite movie lines that I'm now almost old enough to use, Face it, ladies, I'm older and I have more insurance.
So we're going to have to wait for this. I'm going to say it's probably something connected to fentanyl or oxycodone.
Ooh.
All right, guys.
Or the newest one.
Well, I'm not even sure what that one's called yet.
Well, no, because you were bringing it up on a show, a couple of weeks ago?
Uh-huh.
And, like, I'm sorry, Kansas City's probably about right in line to get hit with it.
Yeah.
Because that's the new shit that's like 10 times more powerful than fentanyl.
Right.
And we often see... Well, okay, here's our premise, or at least mine. It's not uncommon for on nights like this where you're having a bunch of people over for a game or whatever party.
Mm-hmm.
For not only there to be some alcohol involved...
Right.
But then also, like, smoke some pot.
Right.
I'm sorry, I've been offered joints at some of the most benign parties.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Tawanda.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right or wrong, queen beyond compare.
Yep. All right, guys. We
also
will see
a wrecking ball.
Sunday for a February setup, and we'll flip through January. I'm going to tell you there's holes in January.
Oh, yeah. January's been fun.
Yep.
So ready for me to take it away?
Take it away, Vanna.
All right. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Tracy Van, Caitlin Bell, and Devin. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Yes. And you guys have a magical evening. Bye, y'all.
Bye.